Welcome to my channel, and I have another story for you. This one is a narcissistic client. So I had a client approach me, wanted me to list his home, and this home was in Brigantine, and it was left to him from his parents. He was from Brigantine. He's lived there all his life. So this house was a little bit over 50 years old. It was a cute bungalow, and I was excited to take this project on, but I had to interview for the job. And how my client found me was I had been featured on a show, Beach Bargain Hunt Renovation in Ventnor. And I also was staging a job around the corner from him for another client to list their home on the market. So I went on the interview and he knew that I was a stager. And after seeing the house, it was vacant. And the house really did need staging. And this was the time when the market wasn't as crazy as it is now. And it made a world of difference because if you have never done staging before, what it's meant to do is accentuate the positive and also hide the negative and help people see the vision of what a room could be. Sometimes you look at the layout of a room and you're like, what am I going to do with this room? And that's why you would want to bring a stager in. So in this particular appointment, when I was in, I did get the job and I was very excited about that. I just didn't know that there was an agent that had interviewed for the job that was a very good friend of theirs, and he didn't go with him. I found out later he was an alcoholic. He had lost his license to drive. He was still a realtor, and I don't know the reasons why he didn't hire him, but why I bring that up is I think he was a little soured that I got the job because he had my client's phone number. And as I share this story, just so you know, he's kibitzing in my client's ear about me. So you'll know why that is important. But in the meantime, I'm at the house, I'm assessing the house as I'm staging and getting all the accessories and bringing them in. He did make the decision to rent furniture because I do not have furniture. I usually partner with another company. I have several rental companies that I use, and I had just used Kensington Furniture for the show that I did for HGTV. And when I interviewed with Kensington, they wanted to test pilot the staging option. They were thinking of getting into that business, so they agreed to do my client in Brigantine's home, which was great. But there was a couple pitfalls to that. So what I didn't know until I was in the midst of picking out furniture was that the furniture that I was picking out was not included because that was their higher end pieces that he did not want to let me have for staging. I don't really know if he truly comprehended what it entailed to be able to stage furniture and put it in a home. It's not going to be used. It's not, nothing's really going to have happen to it because you're only in a home for maybe 30 days tops, maybe 60 if the house really doesn't sell, but that's very rare. And so we had to pick Ashley's furniture, which wasn't really that coastal of a feel, but I made do with what I had. And when he gave us the price, I was flabbergasted, actually. It was like a little over $4,000. And so my client says, well, what would it cost if we bought it? And so the difference was like $400. And he's like, no, we're going to buy it. Now, for any of you who don't know about real estate down at the Jersey Shore, we, most of the time, unless it's brand new construction, will sell the home with furniture in it. So it wasn't unusual to add the furniture to the sale of this home. I think it was actually a good idea considering the house did have a little pitfalls and flaws along the way. And so as I am waiting for the furniture to come, one of the two issues that we had with Kensington is when you're staging, you have to deliver those furniture right away on that day. So I had a day of selecting everything, and then I gave them 2 days to collect all the furniture and bring it to the house. Well, the furniture was coming from Cinnaminson, and they were telling me it was about like they needed 3 days in order to get the furniture and pulled and bring it over. That was fine. So that meant 4 days. Well, we didn't get the furniture. We actually got it in 2 deliveries, which you cannot do because it's holding me up for putting the house on the market. When the furniture does come, now I need mattresses for the beds. So the mattresses come and they all have waves and bumps in them. I'm like, what is going on with these mattresses? Oh, the mover's like, this is from the showroom. I was like, no, we bought this furniture. We want brand new mattresses. So they had to come back and give us brand new mattresses. So now that's all resolved. And I'm accessorizing the house. and I see different flaws. This guy was not doing a thing. So I found a lock that went on the one window. I installed a lock to secure the window. Then I saw the ceiling had wires hanging. They were all capped, but he should have put a light fixture there. Instead of putting a light fixture, what's cheaper? Put a plate. And so I went to the store, got a plate. It was cost me like $3. I mean, these are just little inexpensive things that he could have done. We had baseboards that weren't installed. We had carpenter bee issues. When I asked him, you could treat this. This doesn't look good when you're coming up to the house to see the house. You see bees flying all around. Refused to do anything. This was the first sign. And like I said, this agent is kibitzing in my client's ear, which is not good. Now, after all the staging happens, and I'm finished. We have the house on the market. Bring him 2 offers, and they were not lowball offers, but they were probably about 10% lower than his asking price. And I was hoping at least he would negotiate with them. I mean, this was back in 2017. So the market was a lot different than it is today. And no, he turned both of them down. He wanted to get out of the contract with me. So he called my broker, and that's exactly what he told him. I want to get out of contract. And he's like, well, please tell me why. Did Lisa not do her job? Did she not bring you 2 offers to the table? No, I'm not going to get you out of contract because Lisa did exactly what she was licensed to do, was to sell your home, and she brought you 2 offers. So he was stuck with me, and now we're waiting for someone else to come and bring an offer, and we did. And this person wasn't that far off I'm asking. He was $5,000. So he actually accepted it. I was like, whoa. And then we go through the first contingency, which is home inspection, and it comes back with asbestos tile in the attic that had to be removed, all the little things that I had told you that needed to be addressed. But the big kicker was they didn't expect the cedar siding to have to be replaced, or at least so soon, because the carpenter bees had destroyed the cedar siding. So that was the big caveat to the whole thing, because the siding estimate I think they got was like $20,000. I don't know if that's reasonable, if that's too high, but regardless, they came back with a $6,000 credit that my seller says, hell no. He was not going to address the credit at all. I knew that this was it. And I was so lucky that I had an amazing buyer's agent to work with. Like-minded like myself, wanted to see this to the closing table, and we were trying to do creative thinking. What can we do to make this happen? And I had shared with him the type of homeowner I am working with. And he had said, my client's been looking for so long. They finally found their dream home, and we're going to be back looking at homes again. And it's going to take us forever because they're very particular. He didn't want to have to go back out and show houses, and I didn't want to have to lose this deal, because if I lost this deal, I knew I would walk away with 0. I wouldn't have made any money. So we both agreed that we would take $3,000 on his side, my side, to make up the difference for $6,000 for credit and come to the closing table. And that's what we did. The buyers were so appreciative, and I would have done it all over again, because these were good people, and I had a difficult client to work with. And like I said, it was a happy ending in the end, and I just love the transformation. I went back to the house, met the buyers, and they did such a beautiful job on the home. And but I share this with you guys because sometimes not every transaction is picture perfect and goes really smoothly. There are obstacles, and you really do have to listen, communicate, understand your client, know where they're coming from. And even though my client was difficult, I knew what I could do and what I couldn't do. And I had to work around that and just think outside the box is what I did. And I wouldn't have been able to do it if I didn't have an amazing buyer's agent on the other end. I hope you love this story. I have more coming, so stay tuned. Make sure you subscribe and hit that like button.